What is up, everyone? JD here. I hope you're doing well today. We're going to be doing my full review of the Divo knives Lush from Traditional Pocket Knives. Let's get into it. All right, so what we're going to do today is we're going to do some size comparison, profile comparison. We'll check out the weight, and then we'll jump into my thoughts and impressions. Let's start it off with some profile comparisons. Here it is against the Spyderco Para 3 lightweight. You can see just a little bit smaller than the Para 3, and then here it is against the Spyderco Shaman. So this is more of a gents carry, very, very small by comparison to both of these knives. Let's move the Shaman out of the way and do a quick budget knife comparison. Here it is against the Civivi Bull Tusk, and then we'll move the Para 3 to the side, which it'll come right back for the profile comparison here in just a second. Here it is against the Miguron Moriarl, and again, very easy to tell this is more of a smaller gents knife, fifth pocket. You can throw it into a slip, probably throw into a pouch, which we'll do that. We'll do that here in just a minute because I actually have not checked it up until this point. I just now thought about it. Let's do profile comparisons. Here it is against the Miguron Moriarl, and you can see the Lush is just a little bit thinner overall. And then we'll bring out the Para 3 again, lightweight with the Applied Weapon Tech scales. And you can see the Para 3 is actually slightly thinner. This feels like about a 3-ounce knife. Let's check real quick. Coming in at 2.8 ounces, not bad at all. Let's move that scale out of the way, and let's go ahead and jump into my thoughts and impressions. We'll check this with the pouch in a second. I hadn't quite gotten there. So overall, I really did enjoy getting to get this knife in hand and handle it. This is my own. I picked it up out of pocket. I don't get any loaners or anything like that on everything, but this one was mine, which is great because I got to do like cut tests and everything like that with it, which we'll jump into in just a second. I was a little worried because of the size, how this would feel ergonomically, and actually because they did at Divo include that full forward finger choil, and you can see I got plenty of space behind the blade with that. It's actually 4 fingers for me. I am just about to start to hang off the back a little bit, but I fit on there pretty comfortably. So I'm grateful for that, and it does have enough thickness on it to where I do feel confident holding this in hand. So I really like that as well. Lockup is coming in at about 40%. And Concept did a great job here with that lock bar engagement. They got it over far enough, and they got enough direction in it to make sure that it stays locked up, so you don't have to worry about that if you're out there batoning with your knives. I don't know why you would be doing that with this one, but this one does seem to have a good enough lockup. And I did already do the disassembly. I did it right after I got it because I wanted to tune my lock bar to my liking. Access to the lock bar, speaking of, is really good. You can really get in there very easily. It is nice and smooth, guys, especially after taking it apart and cleaning it myself. I got the reverse flick in a good spot. It is a lighter side detent because of the top flipper and front flipper, but I feel like pushing into the scale, so pushing this way, and flicking it, I have no issues deploying it with that fuller. And then the top flipper for me, at first it was so light that I was failing a little bit because my bigger hands, I was having a little bit of issue getting over top of the top point here with that top flipper, but that works really good now for me no matter how I'm using that. And then the front flipper I was worried about because it looked like you would hit that, but the way that the blade pushes your hand as you're following through, it actually works really well. Still a little light for that. It's tuned definitely for the top flipper in my opinion when it comes out of the box, and then the little bit of tuning I did for me got it to my liking. Bigger hands, more skin on it, so I need a little bit more strength so I can let it rip. Very satisfying on the action, guys. Very smooth on the close. I like that a lot. Let's talk about the blade real quick. I love the fact that they have the jimping back here. So if you're trying to use it for some power cutting that you need to control, like you need to keep it in a certain space, it's going to be really good to help you with that. And then if you're out here on the tip using it to get into boxes, detailed work, this jimping here in the middle very nice. They could have gone all the way through like they did on the growler, and I would have been fine with that. And then this jimping really does help with where you have the controlled cuts. But again, if they would have gone full jimping with the larger hands, it would have been even better for me out here for those draw cuts, but it works really, really well. I'm going to take it down to the garage. We're going to do some quick cutting with it and talk about the edge. All right, guys, we're down in the garage with the Divo knives, traditional pocket knives exclusive Lush. We're going to go ahead and do our cut test and see how this performs. So this is Concepts S90V, Concept Factory Fresh Edge. The edge is not bad. It is a little thick behind the edge, so it is kind of tearing at the paper. But let's see how it performs on everything else. All right, we're gonna kick it off with the denim test. I like to just demonstrate going through like a thick piece of material, what it's gonna feel like. This doesn't have any belly, so I don't anticipate that it's gonna be the best for this type of task, but when you get down to the draw cut, how does it do? So it almost gets through the whole material, getting a little hung up on the inseam there. Let's just keep going. So that time it did a little bit better. Didn't quite reach all the way through. That time it went all the way through. I needed my actual cutting board. This is just some scrap wood that I had down here that I cut on just to kind of protect the material. So not bad. It definitely feels like it could go through the material a little bit better. It's just not reaching all the way to the bottom. How is it with the zip tie test? Nice, it gets right through the zip tie, no issues whatsoever. Yeah, it almost goes all the way through. Again, this is not the best blade shape for this task, but really nice factory edge. Let me move this crap out of the way. Here's where it will shine really well. I'm gonna go across the grooves that I have here. It should go through this. This is a single ply. It should go through this very well. Yeah, nice acute tip. Man, look at that. It went, I'm pushing way too hard, I guess. So yeah, it's going through there nicely. Let's see what the edge is like. And again, and I'll cover that up at the desk. This is not edge retention test. This is just, wow. This is just, how does it feel in the hand cutting through these tasks? And I'll go through my feedback of that when we get up there. This thing is a slicer though, guys. Definite laser beam. There's some blemish there in the cardboard. And that's the disadvantage of including cardboard in your cutting test. You don't know what you're cutting across with this stuff. You know, they just mix whatever in here. Going with the grain. It's very nice. That forged choil is very comfortable. I do feel that wire pocket clip moving around just a touch. But it's not awful at all. Very nice, very nice. This is probably where it won't shine here. If you're trying to like rock cut, it's probably not going to be the best for that. Yeah, it's just, it has no leverage there. If you come off of the actual cutting board and you just use the edge, it should be fine here. Yeah, does really well there. All right, let me just clean it up. Let's see what it looks like going through the paper after that little bit of testing. And again, this is more for comfort than it is edge retention. And you know, I don't expect the factory edge to do that great. And to be completely honest, it seems like the edge has been, there we go. I was gonna say, it looks like it's been flattened, but it definitely doesn't feel as sharp as it did. Let's go ahead and strop it up and see how she strops up. All right, let's see. After some stropping, feels toothy again. After some stropping, I think it'll go through this material a little bit better. Yeah, that feels better than it did with the factory edge. To be honest with you, the paper's rolling a little bit there. I think I got caught up. Got caught up in the finger troll there. but it does feel much better after the strop. And again, these aren't edge retention tests. This is just to see how does it feel on hand when it's cutting. Let me get a fresh piece of paper because that paper was rolling and I don't feel like I'm doing justice to the thinness of this hollow grind and then the stropping that I just did on it. So we'll get a fresh piece of paper. Let's check to see what it's, yeah, there we go. Something that's not rolling over. It's starting to bend towards the end. That's what you're seeing happen. But it is a good edge. And I think my factory edge probably wasn't as refined. You saw that was a factory fresh edge and it wasn't going through the paper super great at that point. So I think, you know, mine probably just needed a little bit of a stropping. But there you go, Lush cut test. Let's head up back to the desk and wrap this up. All right, so we're back from the garage. As you could see, the factory edge was tearing a little bit through the paper. I did not use it any before that cut test. It went through the cardboard like a laser beam, guys. This hollow grind is well done. The blade's factory edge was okay. It wasn't the best I've ever seen. It wasn't bad by any stretch of the imagination. It did everything that I was asking of it in those tests. After the test, you saw a little bit of resistance on some parts of the blade, but a quick strop, 15 to 20 strops, and it was right back to being a laser beam. So really good factory edge from Concept, and I love the fact that they're doing these hollow grinds over there on Divos. The edge termination's way back here, guys. Way back here. So you got nice edge termination, so you can sharpen this plenty if you're intending on using it hard. S90V is a steel that they can heat treat at 59 to 61 Rockwall, and it is going to be something that holds an edge a really long time. I have the S90V on this one here from Spyderco. As you know, they do phenomenal heat treats. So this one here has had the factory edge forever, and I don't know how well, if you can tell, this one definitely gets used a lot. I like this one, especially for summertime carry. And then I have the S90V on that CJRB Echo, and that one's phenomenal. I will do long-term updates for anyone that's interested on how the steel continues to perform. That cut test was to see how it felt in hand ergonomically, right? How it felt to go through those types of cuts. It is not an edge retention test. I will do something like that later on. Ergonomically through those tests, I liked everything but the wire pocket clip. Again, for me, when I was gripping, trying to go through the cardboard, and trying to use that for leverage to go through the denim, I could feel it moving around a little bit, but not a lot. You're not going to get that with the titanium clips, but adversely, these are going to go in and out of the pocket better. They're going to let you see this fancy, beautiful gecko camo carbon scale through it. So, you know, there's the trade-offs. The steel's not as premium, but it doesn't bother me at all, and it's not something that I would switch out. I mean, I leave it on on my lightweight because it helps keep the weight down, and it does so good with the lighter material going in and out of the pocket, and it's very minimal. Complaints, I do have a couple of complaints. They're mostly nitpicks. They're not going to really be any issues. I wish the hardware could have been all T8, guys. I know that he tried, and they had a little bit of an issue with Concept pushing back about these being T8s and the holes having to be a little bit bigger for them to fit the heads. Having said that, though, when I did the disassembly, and you'll see that after this video, they're deep pockets that are on the top of these screw heads. So they were locked in, and I'm not too worried about it. Plus, there are onlays. You really don't need to over tighten them, and you shouldn't, because if you do, you're going to strip out the softer titanium. And the internal screw here is also a T6. I would have just said make the hardware that fastens the body together, ask them to upgrade that to a T8. And then these being T6 are fine, right? Because they're onlays. They're not going to move around. The fit on there is perfect. The only spot I really feel, and let me close it, it goes away. So I don't feel it here. The only spot that I felt was like back here, and I think that's because they rounded the inlay, and I don't know if I can get that to on camera a little bit so you kind of feel right there, but that's the only real blemish that I found on there. So my nitpick is really regarding the T6s, and then I would have just I mean, I don't know because this design, I don't know how long it took them to produce it, but I would just go Growler V2 and go the full length. Just take it all the way out to like right about there, and then you got a nice landing spot for the tip of the knife. I don't think it would take away too much from the looks. You can see it a little bit from the side, but it's not awful. And then, I would just say talk to them about the tuning, and if I'm the only one that's given feedback about it being just a little too light because I was actually failing on the front flip, then they nailed it, right? If I'm the only example out of all the ones that they sold that is kind of given that feedback, then I would say that it's not even a nitpick, that I just got bad luck of the draw. Outside of that, I really like this. I think it's great for its size. It's going to be in the rotation with my hyphen, which is a fifth pocket pouch knife, which I totally forgot. Let's check it because right now my other Divo is in this pouch, and that is the Pony Stout, which I still love this little guy. Let's just see how it looks in the pouch. Oh yeah, there you go. That is perfect size for the pouch. No issues whatsoever. So if you do like to carry some gear in pouches, which I do on occasion, it's going to fit perfectly in there, which lets me know it's going to be great. Love this little guy. It's going to be great for fifth pocket carry and rotating. I will say, I think that other wire clip from Concept went into the pocket a little bit better than this one from QB, but, or no, that's QSP, right? Pony Stout is QSP. Let me put that back. Overall, really happy. Like this. It's going to be part of like this is what I'll be carrying it, my 80s party here. This one here has a little bit more greens in it. And this one shows more of the reds and the orange, and that's how, that's just how it goes when you pick these up. On this side, more of the greens and oranges, and then here you got more of the pinks and blues showing through. With the contouring, it's harder. These are perfectly flat, so when you get to a spot where it looks good, you can kind of hang on to the colors. When you do these little slight contours like this on these types of materials, it's a little harder to get it to have as much pop or to grab as much color as you can with those flat scales. Let me know what you think about the Divo Knives Lush. Don't worry if you didn't get one. Austin over at Traditional Pocket Knives let me know that they've already ordered more because they sold so well, and they want to give everybody an opportunity to get them. And it's going to be a fantastic value for $199. If you use my code JDTPK, you'll get $5 off of that when they come back in stock. So S90V, titanium, camo carbon, bearings, really good action, hollow ground blade. I mean, it is just absolute phenomenal value for the money what you're getting. You get a lot of premium here for your money, and I truly feel like Concept continues to evolve. They did a really good job with the build quality. I'm very happy. Shout out to everyone out there that likes, uses the links, comments, and is subscribed. I appreciate all the support. I love you guys. I hope you have a fantastic week. Until next time, peace.